Good afternoon or evening, CL here. What is that gigantic stairway all the way up into the clouds behind me? Well, that's because I'm going to show you how to make a very beginnery mob spawner. Very cheap, very easy, fairly quick. So if you'd like to come with me all the way up the top of this gigantic stairway, and I'll explain why we're going all the way up this gigantic stairway. So the reason I'm up here is because I want to be away from all the ground spawns that are going to happen. That's also the reason why I'm over the ocean. This is land that will not get spawned upon by any mobs. And I'm also at Y200. Just gets me way away from any other potential spawns. You get much better rates doing it up this way. You can build stairs up however you want to. You can build up a straight line if you want with scaffolding and just start it. You can build it on the ground, you just won't get as good a rates. That's why I always build mine up high over the ocean. Nice big platform to do whatever you want on and light it up well, because you will get spawns on this one as well. So in this chest is what I think you probably will need to make this. All the times I've made this spawner on various worlds, I've never actually counted up how much I've actually used. So I've done a bit of quick maths and this is what I think is the estimated amount. Quite a bit of cobblestone, so you're going to have needed to go mining. You can use any block, just cobblestone's cheap and easy to get when you go mining, and while you're there you can get the iron for the 9 hoppers you need. Now 9 is the minimum amount. Depending on what you want to do, that will get you into 1 chest, depending on where you want to put the chest. 2 buckets of water to make a water source, 2 chests just to keep the stuff at the end of it all, bunch of trapdoors, a couple of bits of wall, again I'll explain why later. Torches purely for the making of it. You don't need torches for it, but if you start making it in survival without the torches, you are probably going to get shot by a skeleton or blown up by a creeper. And then in this chest is just some spare stuff. I'm going to count up how much I use of this. If I do need some spare, there'll be some here and we'll have a little bit of a tally at the end. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to do it in survival, and I'm going to make sure I've got mobs on as well. So the first thing you want to do is stick on a slab. Then you could just take that block away, because this is where your hoppers are all going to sit, and then make this into a 3x3. You don't have to make it 3x3, that's just the size I like. You can make it 2x2 if you want to. Just be aware that spiders won't fall down quite so well if you do. Then take your chests and put them wherever you want to, really. Just for now I'm going to stick them on this back part, but this is possibly not the safest way of doing it, but we'll get onto that in just a mo. Then just get your hoppers all leading into one another, doesn't matter which way, as long as all the stuff goes down into eventually that hopper, it'll all go into that chest. Now when things die on top of here, the stuff will go straight down that half slab into there and straight into your chest. Just to show you what I mean, all those mob drops straight into that chest. And now to build the chute. So really you just need a bit of a waste block there, and then one on the outside, and go with these here, and you'll see that this leaves a half slab gap. That's very important because baby zombies can get underneath a 1 block, so if you make sure you've only left half, they can't get through, otherwise there will be a nuisance. And there you go, that's your killing chamber. There's a couple of things you can do with this. You can keep going around in a circle until you've got 20 high on these, or you could go up 1, drop your water bucket down, and then slide down and start on the next one. I think we're going to do it that way. Notice I put the corner ones on. If you want to save cobblestone, you don't have to put the corner ones on. Just one quick thing to note as well, if you are doing it this way with the water bucket and you've put torches down on the water, it will just wash them all away. I've just used shroom lights for this. I use this or glowstone, usually it looks a bit nicer. So here we are, the chute is done. Now off the top of the chute, there's a couple of ways you can do this, you can adapt, but the most important thing you need to know is you need this to go back on all of the sides by 8 blocks. So that's number 1, 2, 3, there you go, 8 blocks. And you are going to put an end on it in a second, but let's just do all of them. And this is also where you're going to want to slap down a couple of torches as you go, just for now, otherwise you'll get mobs spawning on you, and if it's a skeleton and it knocks you off, you're going to feel pretty bad. So there we go, a couple more torches down. Now what you're going to do is build up some sides. You go all the way across the end and the back. Now if you want to do it a way to save a bit of cobble, slap one down and then just do it that way. And just go around all the way. Okay, so once you've gone around one, go around again. It's got to be too high. That way when things fall in it, they can't just climb straight back out again. So when you've got your little cross here with two high edges, really what you've got to do is fill in all these floory bits. So there are other ways of doing this. You can actually make them longer and take them up another level and have lots of chutes off the side running in. As long as when it comes into it from here, it's too high and then goes onto the floor. But for this one, we're just going to do it in the basic cross format. And beauty with this one is you can make this an extra layer high again, make it 2 levels. It's just, this is the most simple, easy and basic design using the least cobble. I have realised that I have got daylight cycle switched off on this world, so I'm going to quickly switch that back on. I've put a few torches down so nothing should spawn, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to whiz another layer around the edges just because extra little bit of space for them to spawn onto. So I'm just going to quickly do that, and then just like this I'll be back. And 1, 2, 3, there we go. You then want to build up the sides, so just stick a waste block on there. You can take it off if you want it to be symmetrical or leave it on, it's no big deal. That's gone to the ocean now. Push yourself all the way around twice. Go too high. Every mob that you want in a mob spawner will spawn in too high. If you make it higher than that, you'll get Enderman, and Enderman can teleport away from your chute at the bottom. Also, one thing I'm just going to note as well is I am holding shift pretty much the whole time I'm up here. Crouch. That literally will stop me from accidentally falling off the edge, and I fall off the edge, I go into the ocean, I've got to swim all the way back to climb all the way up the steps again. I do not want to do that for the sake of working a little bit quicker. So I just hold crouch just to make sure I'm okay. Again, with these you don't have to put the corners on if you don't want to, it will be perfectly dark without, if you want to save a couple of pieces of cobble. There's all the sides done, too high. Next up is the roof, and this is where your slabs come in. If you use blocks, you've got to light the whole roof up so that nothing can spawn on it. That to me is a chore, and it uses less blocks to use slabs. So get your slabs, but make sure you put them on top of those ones. So if you use half slabs, nothing will spawn on it, but make sure you do the whole around the outside, or light it up with torches if you want to use even less slabs. And just start firing over your roof. There's the roof all done. Now for the trapdoors. Reason for the trapdoors, if we put them all the way along the edge here, like that, one in the middle and one on all the other sides like that, and then the same round the whole way, you end up with this. And what our little mob friends do, if we shut these down, do not hold crouch while you're shutting these down, or else you will get another trapdoor on the top. But if we shut all of these down, our mob friends think that they're still open. They see it as a block they can walk on. It's almost like they gravitate towards them. Because it's down, they fall down too. Now I do fully believe that this works a lot better if you've only got a too wide gap, but the problem with the too wide gap is spiders won't go down and fall down your chute. My experience is with these, spiders do keep spawning and they seem to gravitate towards the corners and go up. You tend to get massive lag spikes because there's so many spiders in here trying to get down and escape, where they keep on spawning. I always make them 3 wide for that. But you should get quite a few out of this design. Now comes the interesting, fun and slightly more dangerous part. We want to rescue this water source. Right, so what you want to do now is fill up all of these with water. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. First up, you can make an unlimited water source by making a full 4 square, putting one in one corner, one in the other. Then all you got to do is keep coming back to collect the water, putting it down, and so on and so forth. Or a different way of doing it is to make a water source across those 3, so pop one in one corner, one in the other corner, and you can take from the middle because it's now an unlimited water source. And if you just do that across all 4 or however many of the chutes you've built, there's your water. Now for the dangerous part, taking away the torches. If you pop yourself a water block, just like that, so you've got somewhere to get down, and then take away all these torches as quickly as you can. It's up to you if you want to pick them back up. You're usually okay. when you jump down your ladder thing, collect your water on the way down so it's not permanently there, because you want them to fall and hurt themselves. If you've done it with the water, you will have to wait for it to finish its draining and hope that no mobs spawn. And then, now this is what I had left over. Obviously you're always going to have the water buckets. Trapdoors, I did work it out on a slightly different design, so I've got plenty of them left over. Very small amount of cobble and a very small amount of slabs. Now you can probably hear already that mobs are tumbling down. Now what you'd normally do is get up in here with your sword and just whack away. The problem is with the creepers, if you get too close and it sees you, I'm not going to do it because I have a bad history of trying. The creeper will explode and it will wreck your setup down here. So what I do is I take the walls one block away, put a row of 5, and then a block away, another row of 5. Just do that all the way around, and then what you're left with is some way that you can get up to it without getting too close that the creepers blow you up. Kind of just like a safety barrier. And if you see, I've just given myself a sword. You can whack away, and then you get all the XP. Creepers bounce around a little while, and if you leave it a moment, it'll be just as full again. And when you look, see what's in your chest, and there you go, some of the torches I dropped earlier that washed out from the water streams. And what I also like to do is, if you take your spare hoppers and chests, drop yourself down a little bit. If you put a chest like that, you can just need to do this before you put your fencing in. Fire a hopper under there, everything will filter down into that chest then. You've got more storage. As you can see, it doesn't take long for them to all fill up. And it's a reasonable way to get XP fairly early in the game. I think everyone would agree that it's fairly easy. You just need to chop down some trees, go mining for a load of cobblestone, make some hoppers, and that's it. There's nothing tricky or hard to it. It's just really easy way to get plenty of mob drops. Arrows are the big thing really, and bone for bone meal, and of course XP for enchanting, so you can get better. And if you really want to get complicated, here's my noisy mob farm from on my server. Same sort of setup, slightly bigger, actually a lot bigger. And what I've done with this one is, this is a platform in case I get an enderman spawn out here. There is a spot in it which is 3 blocks high, just for a reason. Occasionally an enderman will spawn if I hit it. If it teleports, it can't get underneath this. I've got the chest going down to a gigantic item sorter system, and all of these are gathering up the items individually so I can see what I've got, where I've got it. Anything that's not stackable goes into this chest here. And what I do with things like the mob heads is I take them out and put them in here. Armour in there. Everything goes down and gets sorted and filtered into the correct chests. If we just pop it into spectator mode, we can have a look what's going on inside here. See all the mobs spawn on the platforms, and they eventually find themselves falling. Look at all these creepers. They eventually find themselves falling off these platforms and meeting their demise down in my chute. Oh no!